the fact that the world is gradually having to retool itself, moving from dirty energy to clean energy, the reconfiguration of the global energy economy is going to require a lot of commodities, and South Africa, for better or for worse, is endowed incredibly richly with commodities, and we sit in a very strong position when we do have the commodity cycle. I mean, South Africa is by and large the commodity economy. When commodities do well, the market does well. So I think that's the one.
I was just going to say, and that's the thing, because there's abundant resources, there's absolutely stellar demographics if you're talking about population growth.
Lots of investment.
Yeah, so how, as an investor, or how would you suggest people that are, running the rule should be looking, or where should they be looking right now in South Africa to take advantage of all of that, even despite all of the issues that we were talking about?
Okay, so I mean, the big commodity players in South Africa are obviously, Anglos and Glencore, and then of course there's a variety of smaller commodity businesses. But I think that in the long run, those stocks and those industries will be supported by sort of an overall uptick in the commodity space. So there are various different ways that investors can play that game. There's obviously in the platinum space, Anglo Plats, Northam, and some of the other platinum counters. We're obviously still a large producer of gold, and some of the gold stocks have done well in recent times. And I think those are relatively well known to global investors. I think that is in the long run a very exciting space for South African investors. But of course, commodities are one thing, and then if the rest of the economy benefits from the performance of the commodity space over time, there's more tax revenue, and the businesses that sit in and around, the supportive businesses around commodities, do particularly well. And I think, as a result of that, I'm really puzzled as to how investors have become so pessimistic about South African banks, for example. South African banks are, probably amongst the best managed in the world, amongst the best capitalized in the world. We've got an extremely strong financial services industry, and many of our banks are trading on single-digit PEs and approaching double-digit dividend yields, and returns on equity comfortably in the double digits, and some banks producing returns on equity in the mid-20s. And so I think for long-term investors, this is also an extremely interesting and potentially profitable trade.